One thing that married couples often say is that despite their desire to live happily ever after, they inevitably experience bumps along the marriage road. Anyone in the midst of that proverbial honeymoon period may have a hard time believing that, though. It takes tenacity and the will to make things work for a couple to solve the inevitable problems and get through to the other side strong. Bishop Josephat and Rispa Bukachi can attest to this fact, having been married for 28 years, and they share with us the challenges and joys of marriage.
I met my husband in the year 80s, early 80s, when he was in Bible School College, and I was a saint in the same church, and later he became our
youth pastor.
Youth pastor. Then later, he started preaching with my brother-in-law, my elder sister's husband, and I was staying with my sister. So we kept on meeting. We were just, it was like a family friend to my sister's, husband.
I came to know her very well, besides from the church, because her mother was a very faithful follower of my ministry. I knew the mother more than her, actually. I knew the mother more than her, and of course the elder sister, who was also effectively a participant within the church activities. And then when she came around, we began to intermingle, to know each other, and that's where we began, actually.
As all church activities were going on, Josephat reached a point where he needed a wife. That's when he spotted the calm Rispa, his close friend, and he fell in love with her. However, he battled with the fact that despite her being marriage material, he was a close friend to Rispa's mother, who was also active in church matters, and during those days, close relations with mother-in-laws was apparently discouraged.
I was fighting with the mind that now the mother is a very close friend of mine. And during those days, your mother-in-law is a very serious person. You must stay away from her by all by all means. And I tried to weigh between the two. So at one time in our church, our senior pastor, gave her a gift of being the best tithe payer. She was despite the fact she was by then, she's gone to the college, and yet she's a very good payer of tithe. I was like, now this person seems to understand the principles of the Bible. But by that time, she was busy so much in school, and I think she was not decided that she wants to get married, or she will think about marriage. But men being men, as you know, we still push the agenda. And that was early 87, eh? Early
87. Kept on coming in my sister's house as they go together with my brother-in-law ministering, coming back. Sometimes I could come and maybe my sister tells him, why don't you take supper before you go to your house? Then he takes supper, so we are that close. But before he approached me, I think he went through my sister, my elder sister. And it's like my sister scared him off. He told him, that one, just forget, that's a tough lady.
Josephat had a rough time trying to get Rispa to accept him. Apart from Rispa being in school, she was scared of getting married to a pastor, but later on said yes to Josephat's request after persuasion from what she claimed to be the Lord's voice.
He kept on coming, and it was like he was not having a breakthrough. So one day, I think I accepted him through the Lord. It's the Lord who spoke to me. Because I was in college. I was in secretarial college. And so he used to have a typing machine in his house. So we were to go for an interview, for examination. And I had to do the speeding, this manual. Okay, then my sister told me, why don't you go to Brother Bukachi's house, because he has the machine. Take the machine so that you come and do the practice before you go and sit for the examination. When I went there, and I sat on the chair, I felt a certain power, and I heard a voice. It was like, am I dreaming or am I hearing? It kept on telling me, you are accepting this man now. Not today, the word was now. You are accepting him now. It's like, what? So I wrapped up whatever I was hearing. Then he greeted me, then he was asking me, how are you? I'm fine. What do you want? And before I said, I have come for the machine, the voice came again.
These two had another battle to deal with as far as being together was concerned. Rispa's mother was against the relationship. As she recalls, her mother apparently went for fasting to destroy the relationship.
We were very close, but when she heard that I was eyeing the daughter, she was like, no way, that cannot happen. We are friends, yes, but on the issue of marriage, we are not friends. So she sent somebody to come and tell that guy to stay away from my daughter. So,
my mom never told me, but later she called me. When I think she realized this thing, she's not going to have any breakthrough because we were already in love. But later she called me and told me, I want to talk to you. Then I went, because I was staying with my sister, remember? So when I went, she told me, I want you to forgive me. Then I was asking my mom, why do you want me to forgive you? Then she told me she literally went for fasting for 3 days to destroy the relationship. The reason, my mother's reason was because no, my husband is a Luo and I'm a Luo. So my mom, I think, was like, my daughter should be married to a Luo, you know. So I think that one was our problem. And he was not very sure whether I have accepted him or not, because the way it came, you know, you are not even very sure. So he had to tell me, I want you to call our pastor so that we meet the pastor. I myself, I took the phone and called pastor. I told him, we want to see you. So for him to believe now I've accepted him.
You know, some things you need signs, eh? It's normal.
And as if that was not enough, the two had to deal with yet another issue. Josphat's father apparently became a stumbling block in the relationship and even went to an extent of blocking their wedding plans.
Because after we finished dealing with the mother, now my father became a very big stumbling block. Because even as we prepared for the wedding, he was still opposed. Actually, he traveled from Western to come and say, no, you are not marrying this lady. And I asked him why. And he was like, no, she's a Luo. So I said, but you are married to a Mukamba. So what's the difference here? Yeah.
I think the father also had this issue of the lady was grown up in town.
In town, this
cannot
born
be
town.
a best wife, yeah. You should go home and take wife from home.
And there are those issues, by the way, if I may just add on what she's saying, there are those issues of saying that you can never find a good wife in Nairobi. Now, that's a lie of the devil. We have so wonderful ladies that have grown up in disciplined environment. They can make wonderful wives. It's all about the upbringing of an individual. And it's not about being in Nairobi. Because, you know, my father kept saying that you should have come home to pick a wife. And I asked him, why? When these ladies I'm seeing in Nairobi, they cannot make women. What's the problem? But it's about it's just about the mindset. It's a wrong mindset.
The two finally got married on 29th April 1989. They take us through the planning process and the highlights of what took place on their big day.
Not during those early days, we did not have what they do nowadays. You know, nowadays a lot of stuff here. You know, the subsidy, pre-wedding party, all that. During those days, there was nothing like that. Committees. So I organized the wedding by myself with her help in terms of coming up what we want, how we want our wedding to look like, what will be our colors and all that. That was just a start between me and her.
There's a lady who just offered and said, I'm going to buy you a gown. And it's not from Kenya, from outside Kenya. I felt, wow. So then I kept on following her in the office. Every day I was in the office. During that time, we had no phones. So you have to go personally. You can't communicate. Said, I'm preparing, they are coming. It was a long story. So it even reached a place where one of the ladies who was to be on the line asked me, "Where have you found the gown?" I said, "No, Sister so-and-so has promised is going to buy me a gown." And then, no, because this lady was so concerned, it's like she went and asked her, "You have not bought the gown?" It's like the lady became mad. She called me and abused me properly. "Who told you to go and tell people I'm the one buying the gown, blah, blah, blah." I was so stressed. Hey, I felt like now I'm done. Because we are almost having a wedding. I have no gown. I don't know where to start. I had to follow the parents of these small girls at least to buy them shoes and what. And remember, the most stressing thing, because you don't have a phone. So if you keep on traveling, you don't know whether you're going to get them in the office. You know, you are just trusting that you are going to get them. Sunday before the wedding was to be on the following Saturday. That Sunday we didn't go to church. Pastor did not know where we were. Pastor was so confused. He didn't know what to tell the congregation because the father was so firm and he said there is no wedding unless we buy him a suit. He brought so many complications things. I don't know whether he wanted us to buy him shoes. I don't know to buy what at that time. He went and met Pastor.
In the afternoon.
Pastor was just in the church. He doesn't know where we are. And, and the congregation don't know whether we are going to have the wedding on Saturday or not. So we had to talk to Pastor, and I think Pastor went with him to see the father, to talk to the father just to accept that wedding. Then he had to put conditions. That wedding, there should be no ring. The lady should not carry a flower. So the wedding day, Pastor came and told us, "You know, your father-in-law is saying there is no ring, but you are going to have a ring. There is no wedding without a ring." Then he asked me, "Are you going to accept, or will you be comfortable if you go without a flower?" Then I told him, "No problem, so long as I have my husband, the flower." So let us use the ring and do away with the flower. So my girl said flowers, but me, I didn't carry any flower.
You see, this was our big day. It was not his big day. And you know, sometimes parents go beyond. They go beyond their own control and measure of thinking when they think they must dominate every issue or everything the children are doing, which is very bad. Allow your children to cut up a size of their life according to their own measure. From a spiritual perspective, you say, this was quite demonic. It was just demonic completely. Reasons being now, what has happened? What changed? Nothing. She was still the same little girl, and who was not supposed to be married in the first place to me. But now, immediately after the wedding and after marriage, he calls us at home, we go home, and he's like, "Now you need to leave your wife here because he needs to take care of us." It so happens that I'm the last born in my home. I always think anything that is being done right, there's always a lot of opposition and a lot of forces that will always oppose for no good apparent reason. And if you allow the forces to fight beyond your measure of strength to resist, then you are just done. Any meaningful marriage or relationship have a lot of challenges. There are very few that will tell you mine was just a rosy and things. No. You'll find out that there was a force against it. Friends, relatives, aunties, uncles, all those guys. They all rise up their necks up. And yet, before you guys, you are in any meaningful relationship, they were nowhere. Apparently, they didn't know whether you exist or you don't exist. But just wait until when the word goes out. So and so is about, they all come. Remember the day when you were having a honeymoon? That's when Josephat Karanja was appointed as a vice president. I remember that. I remember it was when we were still at the honeymoon, when that announcement came during Moi's time. They said Saitota has been fired, and Josephat Karanja, by then the former MP from Mathare, had been appointed vice president of the Republic of Kenya. We went for 3 days. We went at least for 3 days out, just to relax and ponder what he had been through.
They say that the first years of marriage are usually the hardest. This is because there are various adjustments to be made. The Bukachis too had their own share of issues during the first 5 years. One of it, Josephat, who was a teacher, then had to resign from his job a few months after the wedding, despite the fact that his wife was expecting a baby, which caused financial strain in their marriage.
I think this word called love is a very powerful thing because of that love, I never used to see anything. I never used to feel anything, by the way. Lunch, I could only get ugali and cabbage. So you can imagine that situation. But in my heart, I never felt anything. I never felt like he has disappointed me or what. But it's like it reached a time whereby he thought I might go back to.
I was scared. Within the first 5 years, we got 2 kids. But again, they were very challenging years. Very, very challenging years. I was a teacher by that time. And then, towards the end of that year, we used to have a vehicle that was carrying us from Nairobi here to take us to Thika. By that time, the British government had opened a lot of doors for expatriates, especially who were working in Kenya, to go and get employed there. And I remember one of our principals, Mr. D'Souza, was an expatriate here. So when they decided to leave, the vehicle that was lifting us from here to go to Thika to work was withdrawn. Having just been married a couple of months ago, I decided I'll resign. And I'll not continue being there. So you can imagine you have gotten married, that's the first year. It's like you won't have a job. Your job is hanging in balance, and which indeed it disappeared within the same time. And your wife is pregnant.
As Josephat confesses, their financial pressure apparently made him insecure on whether or not RISPA would stick to him. Still, even when they were down.
It was taking long, and I had put a lot of application in very many schools. And then most schools that were calling me, they were calling me far to go work for. And I was like, well, I'm not, as of now, ready to leave my young family. So that kind of frustrated me a lot. Then I was like, how long will I wait for this job? And it's not coming easily. I had to establish my own small company so that you can raise a few coins here and there. And it was working. At least we'll get some few coins, at least supplement the little that she was earning. As a man, you must always think out of the box. If this is not working, then can you find another thing that is working? It's at that level that I was a bit scared. Because, I've taken somebody's daughter. I'm not giving her the best life she needs. When she saw me as a man who's doing well. And here I am at my lowest point in life. So I felt guilty. That should not be the issue. I should behave better than I'm doing now. That's why I was a bit scared about that. But I kept talking to her, are you okay? But honestly, she has a very big heart. It was like, tuendelee na maisha, so what? But it was a very difficult time. It's always said, a person who dies with you at your most lowest point, that guy is a great friend of yours. And we'll advise those couples who get married based on the financial strength. I have a friend of mine, he's a financial consultant. He always says, pesa huisha. That's not a lie, that's true. Pesa huisha. It does not matter. It doesn't matter the source of that money. At one level, pesa huisha. And you should get married to a person that when that happens, that person can stick up their head for you and say, yes, we had, we don't have now, but fine, we'll get it again. If you get in a relationship with a person who thinks that pesa takwa always, when that money disappears, you'll begin to quarrel and you begin to argue. You begin to pick issues or non-issue matters and really argue out. And then you just disagree and end up the marriage. So the marriage should be based on, one, your personal relationship. Personal, one-on-one relationship. Forget about the wealth. Forget about other matters, external forces. You focus your relationship between you and the woman, or the woman and you. That's what defines the wealth. That's what will define the money. That will define so many things.
Fortunately, 2 years later, Josephat got a job at Bible school. However, he was not comfortable with his wife being a secretary, and as a result, made his wife resign and take another job.
You know, when you are growing up, there are those imaginations. Young men have a lot of imaginations. And there's that assumption that some man will have control over your wife, unfairly mistreat her, demand for unnecessary work. You get kind of those stuff. They are not real, but again, they're imaginative. And most men have those imaginations. So I looked at her and said, no, you'll not be a secretary. I asked her to get into a kindergarten and teach children, because she was very good at the children. So I told her, hey, enda fundisha kwa nursery school. So that helped us in one way or the other, because even during those my difficult financial times, she got a job with one of the churches, and she was employed in their small school. And so even when I didn't have a lot of money that you can depend on, she brought in a bit kidogo, and the little that I could collect, then we will make ends meet. Any man that is in a position and he has full health and is able to move and finds himself in a serious financial challenge, I don't care who he is, he'll feel frustrated. You know, a man, you're the head. You're supposed to lead from front. And if you don't take a lot of care or precautions, you may find yourself going into depression very easily, and perhaps turning that depression or frustration to your family. And of course, that's a point that I not allowed to happen to me, whereby I turn my anger to my wife. I loved her so much, even despite the challenges. She also understood that I'm a very hard-working man, and there is no way I can lazy around when definitely I'm supposed to be working hard to make sure my family is happy. One thing maybe I can advise men outside there, when you are in that kind of a situation, don't allow frustrations to lead you to destroy your own family. There is no situation that is permanent. Every situation is just for a season. And again, I always tell people, the world is only beautiful and beautiful place to live when it has hills, valleys, and straight paths. So in the hills, there's something you learn. When you are in the valley, there's a lot you learn. When you are on a straight path, there's a lot you learn. So every aspect of life and how you move around that life determines whether you'll be a very strong person to withstand or not.
But money was not the only issue that the two lovebirds had to tackle. Josephat was still entangled with his single friends and spent long hours outside instead of with his wife, something that Rispa didn't take lightly.
He had some friends, the young preachers he used to work with. And they were used to play
Ludo.
I don't know, Ludo, whatever. So most of the time he could leave the house, waenda nacheza hiyo Ludo mpaka saa 7 ya usiku. Ndio anarudi. Yaani hiyo mambo ya ujana bado ilikuwa imemtoka. So he kept on doing that until I had to scare him and tell him, no, I'm going to report to pastor. Because now you are coming in the house when food is cold. We have already slept. So that's one occasion where we used to disagree a lot. But eventually alianza kuadjust. Kwa sababu even kuacha hao marafiki ilikuwa ngumu, because them they were not married. And here comes now he is married. So it brought some little bit of conflict, but later we overcame it.
I used to go there every day. The Ludo we are playing it's very addictive. Every day. And you know, when you win, you feel, wow, let's continue. You know, it's challenging each other. And it happened until when she told me, now, my friend, I think in mambo yako yamekuwa mbovu. You know, I will leave the house. I come the house from work at around 6. I leave. I have not eaten supper and all that. She cooks, keeps food for me. She eats a portion. She eats her portion. I'm busy playing Ludo. I'll eat at 1 or 2. Oh, it was a very stupid kind of bad manners. But again, peer pressure. Friends can also be very dangerous. And you see, these guys, they were just enjoying to check at. I'm married. You know, they don't tell you, my friend, you are now married. Go back to your wife. You see, they're like, no, tuendelee. So sometimes friends can really easily destroy you. And it's not good to put your whole mind in friends. It's good to get 1, 2, 3 advice from friends to move forward. But don't put your whole mind there. Once you get married, the truth of the matter is that cut your links. Don't cut them on a negative way, but just try to withdraw some of the things you are doing when you are single, because now you are entering into a serious responsibility. That wife wants you around. He wants to see you. When she comes back, she's tired. You need to be there for her as she is there for you. So it's not fair. Do you know, one time, baadaye sana, I sat down and felt, I was doing wrong. That was not right. That was not right at all. But because I was in my youthful mind, to me it was right. What's the big deal about it? Meoa. Wacha lale. So there are a few things, you know, those are little adjustments that are very key in marriage. And I failed.
There was an issue in cooking too. While Josephat came from staying solo, Rispa came from a large family and was used to cooking for a large group of people, which later on became an issue when she got married, as she couldn't prepare a meal for her now small family.
The only challenge I underwent was when we got married. No, he's from a small family and used to stay alone. And me, I used to stay with 12 sisters, you can imagine. 10 and 1 boy, 11 people in the house. You can imagine the type of huge ugali we used to make. And here I'm coming in a home whereby, so making that small ugali was a problem, you know. But it was a problem cooking because I'm used to cooking to so many people. Now cooking to 2 people sometimes was becoming a problem. But I thank God that sometimes he could go to the kitchen and tells me, no, you need to make this food like this. It is not possible. We are only 2 of us. Why? So it is, no, when the Lord, the Bible says what the Lord has joined together. So I think because this marriage was of the Lord, he was willing and to help me where I was weak, okay, so that I catch up. So I thank God for him because he never rebuked me, he never chased me away, but he was ready to help me where I was not doing well.
You know, my wife comes from a big family. And we always say that with laughter. But you know, when she came, so anaenda koroga sukuma wiki, anaweka maji nyingi, the name of a soup. So I was like, hey man, it can't be like that. I understood her. You know, one time we were talking and she told me, you know my family, we are 12. Football team and the referee. And based on that, you need to understand what I've been through. And I worked very hard to understand, okay, now this is my wife. Now this is who she is. And this is her background. I must adjust. Eventually, she'll come around, you know, but I must also adjust. Hata ikikuja mwambie, okay, next time jaribu punguza hiyo, kama uliweka kombe moja ya maji weka nusu tu, it will still work, because as of now we are just the 2 of us. So those were just bits of teething problems that we eventually overcame.
The reality of parenting is that along with all the amazing joy, blessing, emotional struggles, and sometimes a sense of lost identity, the Bukachis were blessed with 2 children, a boy and a girl. They had an agreement to have a small family due to the fact that they came from large families and wanted a number that they could take care of.
When we were courting, we agreed that we'll only have 2 children. We had our own reasons, not medical reasons, but she comes from a family of 12. I come from a family of 6. And we said, we will only want to raise up children that we are able to take them through to school up to the university level and get a job without transferring that responsibility to their brothers.
I saw what my mom underwent, and I did not like it. She's trained a lot. And even health-wise, she's affected because of too much giving birth. And feeding with the children was a problem. Going to school was a problem. So I did not want to undergo such a scenario. You know, the Bible says when 2 agrees on something, the Lord will answer their prayer. So, you know, when he talked of 2, then he told me that, but we must believe God, the firstborn should be a boy. So we seriously started praying and told God, God, give us firstborn as a boy. You know, though, you know, sometimes you cannot force God, but the Bible says he answers the prayers, isn't it? But sometimes he can give you a girl, it is his choice, but he has answered your prayers. But we thank God he gave us a son. The firstborn was a boy, but this is what I told God. I don't know whether he knows what I told God, but this is what I told God, that if you give me a baby boy, I will raise him to serve you. You are aware of that?
I'm not aware. The first time hearing from you.
As we are talking, he's in the ministry serving the Lord, and he's a God-fearing boy. Yeah.
These kids, you know, with a difference of only 2 years, we had a lot of challenges bringing them up, but, you know, God has given us very good children.
My full names are Blaine Joe Bukachi. Yes, I'm firstborn in this family. We're only 2, just me and my sister. I'm really honored to have these kinds of parents, for sure, because they raised us really well. They raised us really well.
When I asked God for a son and he gave me a son, I took another opportunity. I told God, the second one, just give me a girl. And you know, this is what I told God. If you give me a baby girl, I will raise her to be a singer. I know she's now singing. So as parents, we have the responsibility to raise up these children, the fear of the Lord, keep on counseling them, talk to them, give them the love they need, provide for them, be there for them. And also look at this child when they are growing. What is this child's passion? Who is this child I've given birth to? Who is this girl and who is this boy? Who is this daughter, this son? So that you may be able to help this child to be somebody in the nation.
My name is Milka Young Bukachi, and I am the second and last born in the family of the Bukachis. Yeah, I think our small family for me has really been a blessing, because, well, the character God gave me was that of...
These duo take the task of parenting seriously, and as they believe that the child upbringing is the most significant role a parent will ever have in life.
The reasons why I'm agreeing with Matiang'i 100%, I'm sorry to put that, is because what Matiang'i has just done, Matiang'i is returning children back to the parents, which is supposed to be the case. He's saying, now you guys, no more tuition, stay with your mama. Let her know that you are a very disciplined person, and this far you have gone. I mean, that's right, by the way. We may say it's wrong, but it's right, because when we fail to do or to take charge of our parental roles, then somebody else will do it. And that person will bring out a very serious giant that we may never kill. I attended all my children's parents' meeting, both of them, when they were in secondary school, even in primary school. Even in some instances, I was given a position in those schools as based on serving on parents, whatever, because I wanted to know myself, how are they doing? I do not want to abdicate that role to mama. And we will go together. In all those meetings, I tell mama, now, I know I'm busy, but I'll cut off my schedule today. We must be there for our children. When it comes to parenting, what I'll say is that parents must be very careful. Do not allow that kind of a thing whereby the children meets father as father and then meets mama as mother. You are giving them a room to play around with your mind. These guys are very smart. They are just too smart. If you give them a room to play around with you, they will do it. But when you don't give them a room, they realize now, I love just to be straight. So what I'm saying here is that parents must learn to handle their kids as a team. You and your wife must handle children as a team. And we should completely avoid a scenario whereby you are an absent parent.
The two are pastors and are using what they have learned to assist other couples have a great marriage. For Rispa, who at first was fearful about being a pastor's wife, the reaching out to people was something that she had to learn, as she was apparently shy and lacked confidence to stand in front of people.
Because I didn't know how to handle the man of God. I didn't know. Even when we got married, I didn't want to pray where he is, because I was wondering, how do you pray where a pastor is? Pastor is supposed to do everything. So there is, even one day he was sick, then he told me, pray for me, I'm not feeling well. Then you go and sleep first, I'm going to pray in the sitting room. Because I didn't want to hear him pray. I mean, him hearing me praying.
It's been a long journey. Yes, I'm pastoring, but I also do other things. At one time, I was serving the government at City Hall. I've been in played various roles in this society. Like 2013, I was running for Member of Parliament for Dagoretti. But this time I did not. I just stopped. Maybe God has not led me toward that direction. But it's been a long journey. And again, most of my decisions are informed by the fact that I want to know what, at that particular season, what does God want me to do? That is right.
And to keep their marriage alive, this bubbly couple has a list of activities that they do to keep the spark alive.
From the time I married this girl, number one, we always create time for ourselves. We go out. I think I've taken you almost everywhere in this Kenya. She knows that. I've taken her all over the place, in trip excursions, just outing. Even my kids, by the way. At the time we used to go as a family until now they became so big and they felt, Dad, you will not force us to be following you every time. I said, okay, fine, you guys do your stuff. One thing I've realized that these kids, they will all go. The girl will get married, the man will also get a wife, but the two of us will remain steady together. We celebrate all our good days. If you come to my house today, you'll see we have a carton of cards. I always buy my wife cards to appreciate her. More often, bring her some flowers. I want her to be happy. And take her out. Take her to an evening dinner once after a while. Yeah, I've contributed towards her growing old. So I must keep my promise up to that time that God has planned, that at this time he will divide us, ultimately part us. But that's what I do.
Just as it has been really wonderful. Our parents have taught us so much. Godly values above everything else that has helped me as a person to grow, to become who I am today. And I am grateful to them.
There was no much of restrictions and, certain things that you later on asking yourself, why were we, but they raised us pretty well. That by the time we got to teenager, we were able to make solid decisions by ourselves, and no one has to keep track of you. You're okay. They know we are okay, and that was something that was so. It's rare to be comfortable to have certain conversations with your parents, and with my parents, we've talked everything. So that was something special for me.
Happy family life is doable. It's real and it can happen. All couples need to do is to change their mindset, focus on each other, and work as a team. Everything is so much possible. In fact, I'll say everything is possible. And there is nothing as sweet as having a happy family. Our presence in families are very important, as in they are more than the money we give out. Giving money is okay, putting your family into certain standards that you will want to establish them on a certain class, it's very much okay. But your personal presence and allowing your children to emotionally get involved with you, it's very important.